live, and only 2 minutes of being an hour late.
We don't like daylight saving time.
We don't like daylight
So
saving.
when normal time, when real time comes back, we'll be closer to being on time.
That's what we'll blame it on. Yes.
I had to clean out the turtle pan before we left, even though I will have to again today. But it made so much poop in there because it's warmer. So if you feed them and then they will poop, and she eats more when it's warmer. So it's only slightly warmer, but.
And the turtle pan is in our bedroom.
Yes. But
right by a big sliding door that she can at least see out into the yard where she spends her day.
Yes, she's a good girl.
And how you can find her every day because she wanders around that garden.
She puts on a cloak, the cloaking, what's it called?
Cloak of invisibility.
Yeah, she does that too, but what they call it in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, shields.
I have to tell her to turn off the
cloaking device.
I have to tell her to turn it off, and then I can find her because she's very camouflaged. Anyway.
Well.
But I've been lucky so far. So is she. Raccoons would eat her in the night.
We've had her as long as we've been married.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite.
Not quite. So.
Anyway, everybody knows this. It's a pretty day today. It's probably going to be what?
It's going to be.
Close to 70?
Yeah, it'll be over 70, maybe 75.
Who knows?
And it's nice. And our car has been covered thanks to the generosity of a wonderful Facebook friend.
Our car has been covered.
It's like we roll it on like a condom.
Really? I don't remember.
Hey, I'm going to talk about Discordianism, or sort of. I'm going to the Principia Discord. What's that?
What does that mean?
The goddess Eris. Okay.
Being weird for fun's sake?
It's being weird for fun's sake.
And harmless. And
harmless and profound at the same time.
And a little witty.
And it's.
And you could embarrass yourself, but you don't care.
Well, one of the, and I'm going to read about it, but one of the proscriptions, or one of the commandments, is that when you first become a worshiper of the goddess Eris, you go off on a Friday and joyously eat a hot dog. And that's a slap in the face of, especially when this was written.
Old Catholicism.
Yeah, you don't eat meat on Friday. And
I don't know what they do now.
Judaism doesn't eat pork. And
we still don't, so we must be old-time Catholics.
Well, we've been Discordian since the 6th grade, actually. But can you tell us a bit about our trip to...
Are you showing me? Am I on camera?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh,
I thought you started out talking. Okay, never mind.
Here, I'll talk for you. She wants to tell you about
I thought you were on camera first.
I was. But when you started talking...
Which was immediately. Well...
Marriage.
I'm again it.
Okay, you're back. You're on. Didn't you see the flashing red light?
I'm chewing my gum like my mother did in the car, and I can hear her voice and see her do it. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
I was going to talk about this. He was talking about what he was doing while having me on camera, just looking at him adoringly and chewing my gum.
Oh. Well, what about the baseball game we went to? The Angels baseball game. Do you remember? Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember.
You remember that,
well,
Constance?
We have pictures of it, too.
Yeah, I'll show
and
some.
John Paul looking strangely at his father dressed like a...
Romanian Orthodox.
Romanian, some kind of Orthodox priest. And there were plenty of nuns and other people dressed as priests. I was a nun incognito.
Yes, a modern.
I'm always a nun incognito.
Yes, it's...
Anyway,
life's not easy.
It was fun, and people could have embarrassed themselves. It was at Angel Stadium, and
There were 13 of
It was
us.
13 of us going together, and people were. The nun went to get beer, and everybody was passing a hash pipe around, and they didn't care. I think they thought it was part of our religion, and they just laughed at us. Because Lon spoke with an accent. He'll tell you more about that. But do I have something to say about something else?
Yes. Do you have something to say about something else? Something important.
Well, it's different than what you're going to talk about, but not that it's less important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what might that be?
Or more important. Well, it's just, it's beautiful weather, and I've got my stuffed animals out of a box for 3 years, which I couldn't stand not seeing them. I know nobody understands, but I need to ground myself at this particular time in time and place. So I put them up in a strange place, and it looks like one of those sponges that is as flat as a sheet of paper, and you pour water on it, and it reconstitutes. And they were all in a box, and really tightly squeezed and wrapped up. And some of them in baby blankets because they deserved it. And I got them out, and I set them up, and it looks like a bunch of life forms have immediately reconstituted. And it's good to look at them. And they're on a stair landing, so we'll trip over them when we walk up, but that's okay.
They look really cute, and you made a little table for them, and
yeah, I found a stool on the street that somebody was throwing out, and it was totally beat up, but I sanded it and used a wood rasp and sandpaper and cut off the legs so it's short like a little table. But anyway, maybe we'll take pictures once we get some.
Yes, I want to do it now.
When we get finished. No, you don't want to do it now. Anyway, but that was just what I did this week, which has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about. Except I need grounding, and maybe everyone else does too, because everyone seems to be wanting to attack everybody else. And I read something which makes perfect logical sense to me this week, that no animal, no person,
no organism,
no city, no country attacks in any way, and we're all attacking something some way, if they feel truly invulnerable like we're supposed to be. Actually, in truth, we are invulnerable, but if you feel invulnerable, you are really, on all levels of your being, which means you're pretty much enlightened, I would figure. You do not attack anything. So everybody in the world must be feeling very vulnerable right now and fearful of everything, because they are attacking absolutely everything. I mean, it's mad. It's like the only people that are making money are, even comedians who are attacking people, and groups that are attacking people, and news stories online that are attacking people, and arms makers that are helping attack people, and countries. It's all. Why are we all feeling so terribly vulnerable? Well, maybe we ought to just pretend, get out our stuffed animals and pretend that we're
invulnerable.
That we're invulnerable.
Well, that's Krishna was trying to tell that to Arjuna when they're getting ready
to. Really hurt anybody, and nobody can really.
And nobody can really hurt you. You're invulnerable. So all of this is.
Well, he's a little more.
But
anyway,
I really need to hear
Trump,
that.
I'm the little Catholic girl who was listened when they said, "Pray for your leaders," and I'm going right now. As much as I truly despise everything that Trump stands for and does, as a person, I am truly praying for him to feel invulnerable
and see the light,
and see the light, see his own light in his own way, because he could just he could completely just switch it around and have everything he really wants, but he won't do it, and so he won't get what he really wants, and he'll be stressed out and feeling vulnerable and attacked and have to attack constantly. But he could be the world's greatest hero if he just automatically, and his idiot, followers.
Do you feel like attacking them?
Yes. Well, no, not really. I want them to become enlightened too. Would just do whatever he said.
Yeah.
I mean, so he could easily turn the whole. I mean, It would be great. So I'm just thinking, I'm sending him good juju about forgiveness of everything he thinks he's ever done. So he doesn't. I think his parents and his school and probably his own actions and his previous wives have all made him feel terribly guilty, and he thinks everybody else is just as bad as he is. So that's. Anyway, I'm concerned about. Let's all try to get out our stuffed animals and feel invulnerable like we really are for at least a week. And maybe we could do it for 6 weeks. When you practice something for that long, it becomes more of a habit.
Okay.
How's that?
That's pretty damn good.
Okay, please turn the
I need to hear that. Okay, now I'm not going to press finish.
I'll just chew my gum like my mother.
Now you can.
I have to put my mask on.
Chew your gum with impunity. Okay. Well, thank you, dear, for those words of wisdom.
See it. I'm always working on the hat.
Here, while you're still here, I'm going to show them a picture of me
Boy, of course.
eating a hot dog, dressed up like it was like an Eastern Orthodox bishop.
And we were vegetarians, but Lon wanted to do something Discordian.
That was, as Heydrich said, that was my first meat munch in 16 years or something like that. Here's other pictures.
They're terrible ones, though. They're black and white.
Yeah.
And you hold them so badly you can't see.
But there's little Jean-Paul. Okay. Now there's part of us getting ready to leave the house.
Were the flying saucer people with us?
The flying saucer people with the eyeballs that popped out on springs were there. And I had a translator who was
someone from work.
Your
friend from work colleague with us.
Yes, Atik Razul.
Oh, don't say all his name.
And he was from Pakistan, and he spoke English very well. Actually, he was a medical doctor. He spoke English very well, but his accent was so thick, a thick Mideastern Pakistani, and he would be my interpreter, and I would just speak gibberish the whole trip, and the only English words I would say were baseball, and I would smile, go baseball, and the Angels' biggest star at the time was Rod Carew, and I would slap my knee when Rod Carew came to bat, and I'd go, Rod Carew, baseball. And
he had total fool himself in a stadium packed with people, and we all did. I mean, it was insane. And they thought we were all his followers, whatever. They were so nice to us at Angel Stadium. They would not do that anymore, of course. They wouldn't put up with us, but they were so. And half of us went. Well, we went and brought our own vegetarian hot dogs and put their onions and probably put their onions on them.
But I had a real hot dog for the Discordian thing, which we'll find out about in just a second.
I'm going to go on as well.
Okay, baseball.
Yes, Rod Carew.
And when I do that, my interpreter would go, Bishop says, baseball. He liked Rod Carew.
He played along so well.
Yeah, he was. Okay. And my boss from work was there with her husband and everything, and she kissed my ring as I came in and sat down.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, and she was not an occultist.
I think at that time we were pretending that we were invulnerable.
We were pretending we were invulnerable.
And it worked.
Okay. Well, thank you, dear.
I'm taking my sweatshirt.
We have many parking lots to sit in today.
Well, briefly, I hope.
Okay. Okay, that's it. what I have in my hand here is our Oye magazine that was designed and created by our then very active Lodge member and inspiration, John Sandifer. He made this format and everything else and got us off our ass to make a Lodge journal. And this was 1980. And I'm going to read a few things. I'm not going to read the whole thing because, well, the reason I got off on, no, not that I got off. The reason I got on to this subject is because a good Facebook friend yesterday messaged me and said, "What are your thoughts about Discordianism?" And, well, you know, as much as I encourage people to contact me, a question like, "What are your thoughts on?" to anybody is truly asking them to write a full-blown essay for you, okay? And not everybody has time to do that, and I appreciate the question. But I said, I just answered back with something like harmless, fun, profound. And his next question was, are you one of those, or something like, are you a Discordian? Again, that would be another essay to properly answer, and I'm not going to do that because I get several dozen of those things in the morning and as many in the evening. But I will do this. I'll dedicate today's show because it is an interesting thing, and it has something to do, sort of, with Robert Anton Wilson, okay, who passed away about 7 years ago. And I thought it would just be best if I shared a few little things that we wrote concerning Discordianism back in 1980. Okay, this is Oye magazine. It's our official OTO Haru Raha Lodge thing, and in true Discordian manner, the thing that we should probably read first is the very last thing that we've got in the booklet. It says, "What has guilds wrought?" Excuse me. In the OTO, there is, within the OTO, Crowley encouraged the formation of guilds, where people of a particular interest, focus. You could have an astrology guild, but Crowley even wanted, if you were a carpenter, you'd have a carpenter's guild so within the fraternity to help prosecute your own form of work and things like that. Real guilds. Okay, what have guilds wrought? There may be those among us who are bewildered over the theme of this issue of Oyez. Some may ask, what has all this Discordian stuff have to do with the OTO? The answer is, this Discordian stuff has nothing official to do with the OTO. But Haru Raha Lodge encourages the guild system, as announced in the first issue of Oye and described in Blue Equinox, page 244. Guilds bring together those of like mind or occupation to prosecute their own interests, Since the announcement, several guilds have been formed to provide specialized activities of interest to various segments of our lodge population, and we encourage the guilds to contribute material to Oye. One of the most popular and unusual guild is the Guild of Dynamic Discord, or GODD. Fans of the underground magico-mystico masterpiece of the 1960s, Principia Discordia, or How I Found Goddess and What I Did to Her When I Found Her, which spawned such more recent hits as Robert Anton Wilson's The Illuminatus trilogy and Cosmic Trigger. GODD organized the now famous Eat a Hot Dog on Friday the 13th field trip to Angel Stadium, which delighted and outraged Southern California baseball fans. See article and pictures in this issue. For those who have never been exposed to the sublime transcendent nonsense of Discordia, we offer this brief glimpse at what has been described by some as, quote, the summit of modern Zen, and by others, a complete waste of time. Signed by LMD. Okay, now I'm going to read a couple of excerpts, because I've got excerpts from Principia Discordia, and in pure Discordian manner, they'll be out of sequence and everything else. But the myth behind it is a Greek myth, okay? And I will tell the story probably in a highly inaccurate way. But the gods of Olympus were all hanging out together. It was a community thing. And there was all the major goddesses. There was Aphrodite or Venus, and the Hera and Artemis and all the foxy goddesses, and they were all hanging out and, I don't know, playing canasta or something. But there was the goddess Eris, E-R-I-S, okay, and she was a fox too, okay, but she was kind of goth, okay, and really sort of mischievous, and she talked Hephaestus or Vulcan into making an art piece of a golden apple, and it was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Everybody would want it if they saw it. But she had him engrave on the apple, "To the fairest," and that was sort of like a cow. Okay, had that on the apple, and then while the other goddesses were in the powder room or whatever, she, from behind the curtain, she rolled that apple in, and one of the goddesses picked it up, maybe Venus, picked it up and says, "Oh, to the fairest. Well, this must be for me." And the other goddesses said, "Not so fast. What do you mean for you? Obviously, I'm the fairest. Give me that apple." So, in other words, it just caused a big fight. Okay, as if to say there is great cosmic dynamic truth in continual discord is part of the natural scene. It's a mechanism of the gods. You can't have order without discord. Otherwise, order means nothing. Okay. So it's the goddess Eris who the Discordians worship. And somewhere in the 60s, a group of wild and crazy Zen-like, I think Americans mostly, invented this religion, this Discordian religion. And they wrote a book, Principia Discordia. And Bob Wilson was if not involved in its genesis, was certainly one of the earliest fans to see the brilliance of it, and talked about it in Illumina's trilogy and such. So I'm going to, let's see here. Here's an article from Principia Discordia. It really would look cheesy and sort of, you know, it was before copy machines and certainly before the internet or anything like that. Tests by doctors prove it is possible to shrink. That's the headline. It says, on occultism. Magicians, especially since the Gnostic and Kabbalah influences, have sought higher consciousness through the assimilation and control of universal opposites: good, evil, positive, negative, male, female, etc. But due to the steadfast pomposity of ritualism inherited from the ancient methods of the shaman, occultists have been blinded to what is perhaps the two most important pairs of apparent or earth plane opposites: order, disorder, and serious, humorous. Now, in response to people asking me what I think of chaos magic, which my first answer is, well, if it would have, I would have been a chaos magician if that had popped up 25 years earlier. I would have really gone for that. But this is the kind of chaos I think of when I think of chaos magic. Magicians and their progeny, the scientists, have always taken themselves and their subject in an orderly, sober manner, thereby disregarding the essential metaphysical balance. When magicians learn to approach philosophy as a malleable art instead of an immutable truth, and learn to appreciate the absurdity of man's endeavors, then they will be able to pursue their art with a lighter heart, and perhaps gain a cleaner understanding of it, and therefore gain more effective magic. Chaos is energy. This is an essential challenge to the basic concepts of all Western occult thought. At least it was in the 60s. And POEE is humbly pleased to offer the first major breakthrough in occultism since Solomon. And then it says, study demonology with a friend study demonology with an enemy this Sunday, says Tom. I don't know what it's, Guns or something like that. Anyway, you kind of see what they're up to here. Oh, there's an article here on the turkey curse. Here's a telegram. There's a telegram. I'm going to read the telegram to you with a cartoon written there on the right angle to that. Telegram says, to Jehovah Yahweh, Care, Celestial Hotel, Suite 666, Presidential Tier, Paradise. Dear God, this is to inform you that your current position as deity is herewith terminated due to gross incompetence. Stop. Your check will be mailed. Stop. Please do not use me for a reference. Please do not use me for a reference. Respectively, molecular. Okay, I've never been able to pronounce this, so I'm going to give it a good try because all true Discordians, this rolls off their tongue. Malaclippus, or Malaclippus, probably Malaclippus, the younger, omnibenevolent polyfather, P-O-E-E, high priest. Okay. And that goofy cartoon says, you're right, son, it would be a waste of your kind of talent to go into the insurance business. Okay. Here's more pictures here of the hot dog event. Okay. Now, I could, let's see, if there is an enemy to Eris and the Discordians, or if there is an opposition to it, it's called gray face. A person is a gray face. So, and there's a peculiar numbering system for every one of these page documents. So I'm just going to share about the gray face. Gray face. In the year 1166 BC, a malcontented hunchbrain by the name of Greyface got it into his head that the universe was as humorless as he, and he began to teach that play was sinful because it contradicted the ways of serious order. Quote, "Look at all the order about you," he said, and from that he deluded honest men to believe that reality was a straitjacket affair and not a happy romance as men had known it. It is not presently understood why men were so gullible at that particular time, for absolutely no one thought to observe all the disorder around them and concluded just the opposite. But anyway, Greyface and his followers took the game of playing at life more seriously than they took life itself, and were known even to destroy other living beings whose ways of life differed from their own. The unfortunate result of this is that mankind has since been suffering from the psychological and spiritual imbalance. Imbalance causes frustration, and frustration causes fear, and fear makes a bad trip. Man has been on a bad trip for a long time now. It is called the curse of Greyface. Or as Constance would say, the frustration causes attack. Okay, and here's the article on the baseball game. I'm not going to share that with you, except oh, okay. I call it the Feast of the Fallen Angels. On Friday, June 13th, an event of unparalleled obscurity took place in full view of a mob of thousands of the profane. The mindless, snarling swarm came to see the angels do battle to stay in 13th place. They stunk that year. But 33 people were there for a very different reason. There were 33 of us, I guess, yes. 33 of perhaps the most dangerous subversive ever assembled were there to consecrate and consume a forbidden feast. Some were dressed so as not to attract attention as Roman Catholic and Romanian Orthodox clergy and nuns. Others maintained an even lower profile and just came wearing green-pointed hats with silver moons and stars and glasses with eyeballs that popped out on springs. Between shouts of "Baseball" and Marvin. I forget what Marvin was about. Word was telepathically communicated among the 33 that the bishop was about to eat a hot dog. The clicking of camera shutters filled the air like peanut brittle as he unwrapped his hot dog. 13 years the bishop had been a strict vegetarian, 13 years without a hot dog. Mustard was added, then relish. "Stand up," shouted a priest in tuxedo pants and highway patrol boots. The bishop stood up. He closed his eyes. He stuck the hot dog in his mouth. He bit down. For the bishop, time had stopped. The screen of his mind was packed with dizzying images of dancing pigs and Julie Eisenhower. The veil of long-forgotten incarnations of swine-eating was parted like the raincoat on a bus depot pervert. In that infinite moment, a heretofore ignored batter in the field below, connected with a blue darter into the left field, stands not 50 feet from the secret conclave. The gods had conspired with omniscient wit to force every man, woman, and child in left field to leap to their feet and scream with unbridled hysteria at the very instant the forbidden feast was consummated. The bishop opened his eyes, bowed with mock humility, then sat down. On the field below, angels were being trounced by the Red Sox. In the left field stands, a nun went again to the concession stand for more beer and hot dogs. "Thank you, sister," the concessionaire said with respect. "God bless you," she said as she counted her change. Note, on Friday the 13th, California Angels were in 13th place in the American League. On the 14th, they were in 14th place. On the 15th, they were in 15th place. On the 16th, nobody cared. Okay, I know we've gone a long time, but I'll close with the 5 commandments, or what they call the pentabarf. There is no goddess but Eris, is sort of the watchword. The pentabarf was discovered by the hermit apostle Zarathod in the 5th year of the caterpillar. He found them carved in gilded stone while building a sun deck for his cave, but their import was lost, for they were written in a mysterious cipher. However, after 10 weeks and 11 hours of intense scrutiny, he discovered the message could be read by standing on his head and viewing it upside down. Here's the commandments. Know ye this, O man of faith. 1. There is no goddess but goddess, and she is your goddess. There is no Irisian movement but the Irisian movement, and it is the Irisian movement. And every golden apple core is the beloved home of a golden worm. 2. A Discordian shall always use the official Discordian document numbering system. This page is quadruple 04. 3. A Discordian is required during his early illumination to go off alone and partake joyously of a hot dog on a Friday. This devotive ceremony was to remonstrate against the particular paganisms of the day. Of Catholic Christendom, no meat on Friday. Of Judaism, no meat of pork. Of Hindic peoples, no meat of beef. Of Buddhist, no meat of animal. And of Discordians, no hot dog buns. 4. A Discordian shall partake of no hot dog buns, for such was the solace of our goddess when she was confronted with the original snub. Okay, the original snub in Discordianism is the parallel is paralleled in Christianity as original sin. The original snub is when the other goddesses wouldn't let Eris into their tea party, which started the whole thing. Okay, the original snub. 5. A Discordian is prohibited of believing what he reads. Which is my favorite. It is so written. So be it. Hail Discordia. Prosecutors will be transgressicuted. Test question from Topanga Cabal, the 12 famous Buddha mind school. If they are our brothers, how come we can't eat them? Okay. One other thing that this issue included was a copy of the engraving that we put on the brass plaque that was mounted on walnut, a brass plaque that we presented to Dr. Timothy Leary. And it was our Guild of Advanced Thought, that's another one of our guilds there, honors Timothy Leary. It was July 11th, 1980, same year we were doing this. It was a fun year for the Lodge. Guild of Advanced Thought honors Timothy Leary, OTO, peace, tolerance, truth, salutation on all points of the triangle, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. The Guild of Advanced Thought, or GOAT, G-O-A-T, of Haru Raha Lodge, OTO, is honored to present to Dr. Timothy Leary the first annual Adam Weishaupt Illuminati Award. In recognition of incalculable service to humanity and others, because of his inspired research and courageous example, Dr. Leary is directly responsible for raising the consciousness of our planet. Your only allegiance is to life. Love is the law, love under will, given this 11th day of July 1980. Of course, we got pictures of that. And after his death, the plaque was auctioned at Christie's. I know we've gone over. We started late and went really long, but that's how Tuesdays go sometimes. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.